Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of the Special Sessions Live 666 Halloween Countdown. I'm a little tired. It was a pretty long day at work. Long week at work last week. Anyways, tonight's guest will be Garry Tonon. If you don't know who Garry Tonon is, Garry Tonon is one of the world's, I'd say, most decorated no-gi grapplers, and as well as a undefeated MMA fighter. He fights for an organization in Japan called ONE FC. Yeah, he's a great guy. We've been friends for many years. We're probably not going to talk about MMA and jiu-jitsu because that would probably isolate, like, at least most of this show's audience. But, we're keeping it diverse. And what's up, Andy? And, so let's see if, we're a little bit early. Let's see if I can send him a invite. So we're just chilling. And like I said, it's been a long work week and it's only Tuesday. Holy fuck. But yeah, this has been a really fun experiment. Everybody's enjoyed the other episodes. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and hope everybody's doing good, enjoying the season, and of course staying safe, preferably shutting up. It's the most important thing right now, other than wearing a mask, is shutting the fuck up, which a lot of people don't know how to do. There's a time where your voice should be heard. Oh, we hear it too much. So we're waiting for Garry, and we're going to deal with my babble. As I said, it's been a long day. So, everybody's joining. Hi, everybody. Okay, so we're going to wait for Garry a little further. I have to run in a few. What's up, Andy? Have to run in a few. Can I watch? There's Garry. Okay, let's add him. Okay. Okay, we're going live with Garry Tonon. Here we go. It's been a while since I've seen this guy. Probably since November. Garry!
What's up, brother? How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. Cooking up some baby back ribs in my air fryer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got a new smoker this year, so I've been maybe doing a pork butt this weekend. I don't know. It's supposed to rain, so I don't know if I want to deal with fire and rain, Thanks for being on the show. Welcome. This is week 5 of 6-week thing, 6 guests. We talk 6 movies, Halloween, whatever,
Awesome.
So yeah, let's cut to it. I know you're a busy man, so let's jump to it. So the task at hand is, let's talk about 6 horror films you like, or we can throw in some Halloween memories. I know you like to dress up even when it's not Halloween.
Yeah, man. All right, so I want to talk first about some horror stuff that I've been watching recently, and then we'll delve into some stuff of the past.
Okay, sounds perfect. Awesome.
So this isn't so much like one movie. It's just a series that's out right now on Netflix. It's a 2-part series. I think the second part just came out. The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Very good. Very good.
Both of them were excellent, man. I would say the Bly Manor one catches on a little slower, and I don't like the way they do it as much, because there's a lot of flashback, and then back to like the regular. It gets very confusing. But the way that they did Hill House was really cool. Even if you didn't really like horror films that much, I just thought it was a really
good drama. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They do a great job of like taking each character, and like every character kind of has their episode. And it's always cool because most movies you only really get to see the perspective of one person. And like there's like a protagonist, and then like you just know what the protagonist's perspective is on an event. But it's really cool to see like 6 different people's perspectives on one, thing. But dude, there's some really scary parts. Dude, I am jump scared so easy. So like anything that jumps out, I'm like, ah. I'm jumping across the couch, man. So those were some good ones, dude. I
Yeah,
really like those. Did you get to
Hill
see them?
House. I rewatched Hill House just because Bly Manor was coming up.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, I usually do my movie marathons on the weekends, but I figured like since during the week, just to keep this rolling, might as well turn some on during the week. And
Yeah.
shows are the perfect thing to do for that. You know, you come home, you watch 2 episodes, you crash, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I rewatched all of Hill House, and I forgot how frightening some of the shit was. Like, there's some shit, and like you said, jump scares. There's one in particular towards the end when they're in the
Yes.
SUV.
Yes.
Yeah, fuck
Dude,
that shit.
I was so terrified. That was
Yeah.
the scariest moment of the whole thing for me.
Yeah.
I screamed when that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Yeah.
that fucked me up. I've seen that director's other work, and I know what he's capable of. He's very heavy on the drama.
Sure.
It's very quiet, and then all of a sudden some shit goes down, which is it's a good go-to. It works, you know.
Yeah,
it keeps you alive, I guess. But yeah, that one fucked with me a lot. I was like, God damn. Even when I rewatched it, I almost forgot about it, and the volume on my TV was down. And I was like, oh fuck, I forgot about that. So I had to rewatch it again with the volume up, and holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a really good job. And like I said, like there's more to it than just like regular scary stuff. It's not just all jump scares. You know, actually, if a movie is all jump scares, I'm kind of pissed. You know, to be honest. Like, so there's like a lot more to it. I like stuff that's thought provoking. Like honestly, like my main thing that I like to watch is more like sci-fi sort of era kind of things. So you know, that kind of fulfilled that, even though it was more of a drama, like it fulfilled that kind of thought-provoking aspect.
Right. Have you ever seen it? It kind of is a sci-fi and horror and heavily psychological. Have you ever seen the movie Annihilation?
No, I don't think so.
Natalie Portman.
Wait, is it relatively new?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I have seen it. They go into there's like a big bubble, and inside the bubble. Yeah, man, that was really good.
That's I saw it twice in the theaters. I saw it one day and I was a little too stoned, and the next day I was like, you know what, I want to see that again a little more sober, and it still had the same effect. So I was like, okay, it's just a legit good movie. It just wasn't the herbal influences, but
the beginning and the ending of that one just freaked me the hell out. Like the husband coming home in the beginning is super weird, and then at the very end, like what they do with the ending in the lighthouse and stuff, it's like so crazy.
It's a fucked up movie. It's not a polite movie at all. Like, it's not nice at all.
Yeah. There was speaking of like somewhat sci-fi horror, I can't really remember the name of it. Maybe you've seen it because it seems like you like that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. It was a movie about it was a zombie movie, and it was about a type of zombie that when the kids were infected, if they were in the womb or whatever, they were affected differently, and the kids could they could like kind of act and talk like normal people. Mm-hmm. The whole movie was centered around like this one girl who was like really intelligent, and then it just had a really different take. There was like, I think at the end of the movie, there's like 3 stages of the zombies. There's like the kid, there's the zombies, and then there's like this late stage where they're like fungus spores or something that get released and attack everybody or something.
Okay. So it's pretty much like Mankind in 2020.
Something like that.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to check it out. Like, I'm not the biggest zombie fan because it's an open genre. Like, I kind of feel like anybody can use it and abuse it as much as they want. But
I liked it because it was a different
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, because most of them are pretty similar. You know what I mean? This one had like a very different look at it. The girl is part of the title, but I just can't remember exactly what the whole title is.
Okay.
Let me think. Let's see what we got. Oh, so another one that I just rewatched. Do you remember Jeepers Creepers?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Super corny, but man, I always loved that movie, man.
It's a good one. It's definitely a good one. It's a cool series. I don't think I've seen any of them.
Somebody commented on the last thing we were talking about. It's called The Girl with All the Gifts.
The Girl with All the Gifts.
I was talking about. Yeah.
Thank you. Who is that? Kerrigan
Edge.
Sedge. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it was a great movie. But
Yeah.
sorry, Jeepers Creepers. What were you saying?
Yeah. I don't think I've seen any other movies in that series other than that one. I know they did a few,
Yeah.
but it's a pretty cool series, from what I've heard. I've definitely seen the first one. It's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. So I put down some that I absolutely hate as well, but I thought it would be worth talking about.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Blair Witch Project? Because it was literally my least favorite. I was a child when that came out, and I still just like it. To me, it wasn't scary. It was like a bunch of like college kids that ran into the woods and started cursing at each other. Like I wasn't scared in the slightest.
I mean, I saw it in the theater as a kid. I was like maybe 12 when that came out. I mean, it was cool for what it was, but I mean, I remember Chris Rock told a joke about that movie around the time it came out, that they said that they put like millions of dollars into that movie or something, and he was like, "Where?"
Yeah.
But yeah, it had its time, I guess. It kind of came and went. I think it had a big hype campaign behind it. You know what I mean? Because in the 90s, like especially late 90s, horror was kind of dead. It was kind of like, okay, what are we going to do now? Yeah.
Oh, another one that I hated, not so much because it's a bad movie. It just gets disgusting at the end. The Fly.
The Jeff Goldblum one?
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah,
that gets so gross.
yeah, it's a disgusting movie. Yeah, everything. I don't know if you've seen that director's other movies, David Cronenberg, but if you like sci-fi, I mean, that might be the least gross movie he's done.
That's terrifying.
He did another movie called Videodrome with James Woods and Deborah Harry from Blondie. It was like mid to late 80s, and it's basically about people who get addicted to snuff films and then merging sex and technology, which kind of like predates where we're at now with, predates the internet, then predates cell phones, because how can you beat off anymore without a cell phone? But, that's definitely one you should check out. You'll watch it and go, okay, that was more disgusting. But it's also kind of a cool movie too. So
speaking of not being able to beat off without a cell phone, I got my father a cell phone a few years back, and he hadn't had like a smartphone. Like he never had one. Like for however many years they were available, he just never had one. And he hadn't had access to a computer in a reasonable period of time. So I didn't really think about it when I gave him the smartphone. But like 3 months later, he's like, yeah. And it was kind of a relatively new phone. He's like, yeah, can't get the phone to work. Don't know what happened. So I was like, oh, let me look at it. We're at like a family dinner at my grandma's. It was like my grandma's birthday or something. So I'm looking at the phone. And you know how you have like your app tray where you have all your apps? It's literally full of just a random shit that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, why would you put all these apps? He's like, well, I didn't download them or whatever. And like as I'm trying to like delete things, it's just canceling me out of the phone. I'm like, man, what did you do to this? He's like, well, I may have gone to some websites I probably shouldn't be on to. So my dad, through the use of repeatedly using his phone for pornography, managed to make the phone so unusable that I had to factory reset the phone, or I could not get it working again.
Wow. That's great. Well, I mean, hey, it may have been one of the few occasions where he's had that readily, available to him, But yeah, maybe you should make him watch Videodrome too, because it says a lot. It's a cool one.
Somebody in the comments just mentioned Midsummer, which I watched. Did you see that one?
Oh,
dude,
absolutely.
I would never watch it again because it's so slow, but it's pretty weird, man. Like it's definitely like a scary movie. Like there's some thought provoking. Even the beginning of that movie is like super fucked up. It just takes like a while to like kick in, My favorite part of the movie probably is the people jumping off the cliff, and then the teenagers getting to finish them off with a hammer while everybody watches as they scream.
That was so fucked up. I had to laugh.
Yeah, dude, I was laughing hysterically.
Like when the first woman fell and she fell perfect. Okay, I was like, okay, you know. But then when dude was all stiff and like did it wrong, like, bro, you can't even kill yourself, right? And then they came over going with the hammer. It's like, yeah.
Oh my god,
embarrassment, you know,
dude. Man, that was crazy.
Yeah,
so, and then the ending of that movie's pretty fucked too.
Yeah, I remember that. I didn't get to see that in the theaters last year. There was a couple little smaller theaters around here that were playing it, and I went to like a matinee where I think you could buy like a package for the whole day, but I only stayed for The Exorcist. Midsummer was next, and I was just like, you know what? I saw the running time, and I know how that director works. And I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. I'll wait for home. But yeah, that's a really interesting one. Did you see the movie that director did before that called Hereditary?
I think I did. It sounds super familiar. Refresh my memory. But if I didn't, maybe I just saw it advertised.
That was the one where the grandma is like a witch, and like the family, they're all mentally ill, and I don't know. I like it's hard to put it into words. But basically, like genetically, I guess they're connected to some demon through ancestry. It plays out in the movie as mental illness, so that's why it keeps you in without being hocus pocus or anything silly like that. But that's a good one. It's really fucked up. It's slow, but it's unlike Midsummer. Once it gets going, it doesn't stop. Whereas Midsummer starts hard and then works its way into a drama, then works its way back into a horror film.
Yeah. I after you described it, I don't think I've seen that one, but it's something I think I'm interested in seeing because I heard a lot of good things about it. Did you catch VHS by any chance?
Absolutely, I love those movies.
Yeah. So it's not the whole movie that I'm particularly liked, but there was the one section of VHS because it's basically like several movies, in one.
Right.
The one section of VHS where the guys like go out drinking and they have like kind of a nerdy friend that hooks up.
Yeah, that one's fucking awesome.
Dude, that is, oh man, that's so fucked, man. It's that keeps me up at night for sure. Like after like watching that.
I felt like it was lifted out of one of my diaries. Like you take a woman up and she's a demon. Yeah, and then you're flying.
Dude, that was so crazy.
That's a pretty gnarly. The second one was really good too. It didn't have as much good short movies in it as the first one did, but there's one in particular where I think it's based in the Philippines where they go to some cult, some like doomsday cult. That one's fucking gnarly too. But yeah, it's the way it was done in the first VHS with the glasses and all that. Like it was so low budget, so thrown together. Yet it was so And they tried to do a full length picture with that character, with that demon girl, and it totally failed. Like it was one of the biggest disappointments. It was like, it sucks. It lost all the within that short movie. It should just stay there.
Yeah, it just worked, but it didn't work as a bigger movie. That's a shame.
Right.
Shame. So what about like horror comedies like Shaun of the Dead?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah,
dude! Such a big fan. Love that movie.
It's a classic, and I mean that's just another example. And I mean, how many comedy zombie movies followed after that?
Oh yeah,
tons.
Yeah, Zombieland and stuff was okay. It started to get easy when they started to like make the second one and stuff. But I think Shaun of the Dead is like one of my favorite out of all of those.
Yeah. Well, they knew what they were doing, and Simon Pegg and all them, and Edgar Wright, they're fucking awesome. So they know what they're doing,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I had let me see. What was the other one that I had on the list? Oh, Get Out was like that one was pretty fucked.
Yeah, that movie's fucked up. That was
Super
when I
scary.
saw it in the theater, and I was really uncomfortable. You know, it was really
Yeah.
uncomfortable. There was a lot of and there was a lot of really funny stuff that a lot of people in the audience didn't catch on to. You
Yeah.
know, um, especially with like the way the father talked to the main character.
Yeah.
Growing up with friends who were in interracial relationships and
Yeah.
going to parties. That's kind of
Mhm.
how some people behave. It made me laugh really hard in the theater, and I'm like, I hope no one's mad at me for getting these jokes, because
Yeah.
it went over a lot of boomers' heads. Let's just put it like that. Like they didn't catch it.
For sure.
Yeah. So, do you have any like Halloween memories as a kid?
Yeah.
Costumes that were your favorite?
So I'll tell you my favorite costume. There was two that stick out in my head. I would always do. I pretty much was pretty into the holiday. Like
Hmm.
I think I always did something as a kid, and
Hmm.
even like I don't think I did it as hard when I was in college and stuff. Like I think I would still go like get a costume, but it wasn't like it wasn't as big of a deal. But
Right.
in high school, once I went as an actual shower. So I
Okay.
had a hula hoop wrapped
Nice.
around my head with like there was like these broomsticks that were the armrests on my shoulders. My
Hmm.
mom helped me make this costume,
Hmm.
and I think I had like an actual shower head with streamers like hanging
Hmm.
down over my head, and then like there's a curtain hung around the hula hoop. So I would
Hmm.
like open up the hula hoop and it would be like me with like I had like a shower cap on and I had like
That's
different like
awesome.
things to scrub myself with and things. It was pretty funny, man.
That's
That's
really
probably the best
awesome.
costume I think. And then I had a really annoying costume.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the peanut butter jelly time videos?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I remember
So,
that.
so I went as the banana, like I was in a big banana costume,
Right,
and
right.
had like a little portable speaker, and I was just
Uh-huh.
dancing around the hallway in between classes, and I can't tell you the amount of death threats that I received. Like nobody knew who it was because I'm in a giant banana costume. You could like I guess my
Right.
head was like kind of inside it, but
Yeah.
I would hear people in the hallway, yeah, who's that fucking guy? What an asshole! Like.
Yeah. You should bring that back. You should bring ADCC 2021. Just come out in the banana costume.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. But I'm trying to think like costumes over the years. Like there was a point in high school where I didn't trick or treat anymore, like maybe a house party or two. Uh,
sure.
I was the one year, I think I was in like sixth grade. I was like, I went to a party, there was school parade, and then there was just trick or treating. And I think I was three different John Travolta characters that year. Like
That's great.
for trick or treating, I was him from Grease. 'Cause I had a
Uh-huh.
lot of hair, and we just put it back into like a big duck ass and like a leather
Nice.
coat. And then, but for school, I slicked my hair back, and I was John Travolta from Pulp Fiction. Like I had
Oh
the little
man.
lasso tie or whatever they call those. And then my teacher was like, "You were allowed to see that movie?" And I'm like, "So I lied. I was like, I only saw parts of it, which was a total lie. Yes, I definitely saw that movie many times at that point, you
That's
know.
funny.
But then I was Snooki one year recently. A group of friends,
That's
all the
great.
girls were dressed as guy characters from Jersey Shore, so
Uh-huh.
all the dudes kind of dressed as the women. And I just came back from California, so I actually had a real tan.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll be Snooki. So
Wow. That's
yeah,
awesome.
I bought a dress at Target for petite pregnant women.
That sounds pretty fitting for the character.
Yeah, it was perfect. Well, the main thing was is that it fit and it was a dress, so I got away with it. But yeah, that was the last costume, and I think I was Black Swan the following maybe 2 years later, which I
Yeah.
used the same dress and we just sewed a boa to. But after that, I was like that costume, the Black Swan one was so like dead on that I
Yeah.
don't even share pictures of it because it's just fucking creepy. You know, and my friend's wedding was like the next day, and they saw all the pictures of me wearing that, and they were like, dude, you kind of went too far on that one. I was like, yeah, it's because it was good. If it was bad, it would have been hysterical. But
Yeah.
yeah. But let's see, what else could we cover? We covered a lot of movies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
The costume that got away from me that I always wanted to do when I was in high school that I don't think would be as effective now because I don't know where I would do it really. I mean, I guess I could like just go around New York. Is like a team costume where I had like both of us dressed as knights and one dude clicking coconuts behind me. I just really wanted to do that
Yeah.
one year, and I never really got anybody to do it with me.
I mean, honestly, with the way this year's going, you could probably do that downtown New York any day of the week, and it would be completely fine.
Yeah, more than likely.
The thing is, who would be the coconut person? That's the most important thing.
It's a tough. We would have to have an audition.
Yeah, yeah. Why? People would show up for that.
Yeah.
You would have no problem. You would have no
Speaking,
problem.
this is a total tangent, but speaking of auditions, have you ever seen the Ben Show?
Bench, the guy who is basically Wheeler Walker Jr.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So on the Ben Show, he does an audition for older people to be involved in like a gangster granny movie.
That's right. Yeah.
That has got to be one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah. That one, people don't realize, like, because his character, Wheeler Walker Jr., took off so hard, people forget how much of a comic genius that guy was. Yeah. And the grannies with the machine guns and everything. Like, that was fucking amazing. Yeah, it's definitely has nothing to do with Halloween, but it's totally fit. Now, that would be a good costume idea.
Yeah.
Dress up like a bunch of old ladies with, like, machine guns. So another thing I want to bring up, and I was thinking about this when I booked you, is being that you're from Jersey, okay, we have to talk about two main things that are very important to Halloween to me are from New Jersey. One of them is Jason Voorhees.
Yes.
Which is New Jersey. And even his character and everything about him is Jersey.
Yeah,
you can beat the fucking shit out of Jason, and he keeps coming back. Like, that's perfectly Jersey.
Should I become the next Jason Voorhees? Change the Lion Killer title?
It's why not? Yeah, just go through the Jersey Devil. I know you have the Jersey Devil mythology. I think some people have already taken it. Well, a hockey team is called the Jersey Devils.
Yeah. The Jersey Devil was always a fun one. That was probably like growing up, like probably the most, go camping or something like that. That's what was talked about the most. Mm-hmm. This crazy creature. I think the tale goes something like there was like 13. A woman had like some witch or something had like 13 children, and like the 13th one was like cursed and like was born deformed or something, and turned into some like crazy monster with like bat wings and all these things. And there's all different types of like of different characters that they've painted for him. Some of them are like more bird-like. Other ones kind of look a little bit like a hairy devil, like almost like a Sasquatchy kind of character. My growing up, my aunt or my great aunt had a wood carving of the Jersey Devil outside her house, and it was like this furry demon with like horns on its head and stuff. So
that's
I
awesome.
Get a lot of mileage out of the Jersey Devil when we were kids, trying to scare the shit out of my sister. So
I could just imagine like and I'm glad there's more folklore to it, because I didn't just want it to bring it up and it'd be so. It's really cool to hear a backstory, because I mean we've heard of it here, and I mean obviously there's the hockey team, the Jersey Devils, but we're like I partly know it because I do have family from Jersey. I did go to Jersey as a kid, so I know some of the folklore of it. But it's cool to hear more about it, and that sounds like the coolest statue you said your aunt has.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I was always like super creeped out by it, and then they told me it was a statue of the Jersey Devil, and I would always like wonder about it. I thought it was crazy.
Yeah. I had an aunt who was like crazy religious, and I mean she's scary as is, but she had this like holographic Jesus picture where if you look at one angle, it's just the face of Jesus, but then you go to the other angle, it's the Shroud of Turin.
Oh,
and
wow.
If you catch it in the middle, it's just fucking frightening. And then, like, when I was a teenager, like, I totally wasn't religious, but she totally gave me the picture. And then I had to get rid of it because it fucking freaked even me out. Because I was like, yeah, this, metal kid, goth kid, whatever. Yeah, we'll put Scary Jesus up. You put it up. And, like, it's all fun and games when people are over, but when you're, like, waking up to get something to drink and it's looking at you, it's like, bro, no, I'm good on that. No more Scary Jesus.
That reminds me of my phone background. Like, I have this phone background currently, which is like this, like, really scary, like, drugged out dude who's just like he looks like a hairy weirdo. And, like, I just thought it would be funny to put that as my background to have people comment on it. But to this day, when I'm not ready for it, like when I wake up in the morning and shit, and I look at my background, I get frightened. I'm like, oh, what's that?
Yeah, hey, why not? You gotta have a good time, I guess, But yeah, let's see, what else haven't we covered? So we covered that. Oh, there's a town, and this isn't Halloween related. This is more Jersey related. I just found out about this town, and I don't know if you've heard of it or whatever.
Okay.
I think it's called Wild West City or Wild West Town, where it's a whole town that's modeled after the Wild West, and there's the people who work there always in character as if it's a Wild West town. Have you ever heard of this or been there?
And this is supposed to be in Jersey? Yeah,
I think it's called Wild West Town. It's about
I've never been there. There's been a couple places in Jersey where like they do up towns like that. And maybe they're in Pennsylvania. I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure they have some of them in Pennsylvania too. I remember one was like Smithville or something where like everything's kind of kept everything super old. I do remember them doing a South Park on that though once, if you remember that episode. That was really funny.
Yeah, I
try to stay in character the whole time.
I was watching some show and there was like, Pennsylvania, we have Amish country.
Yeah, you don't even need to. You don't even need to do it at the town.
They're not even in character. That's just how they roll.
It's them.
Yeah. And I haven't had many. Haven't seen them a lot. They don't really flock to places I go. At least that I know of.
Yeah.
But we have that. So that's not even dramatization. That's just for real. But yeah, I heard about this. And I Googled it or Google mapped it and see how far away it is from Brunswick. And it's like an hour away. So if I ever come to Jersey and visit,
we gotta go
to this town just to check it out. Because it sounds fucking hysterical.
Yeah, we gotta fuck with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, or not fuck with everybody.
Or join in on the fun and be one of the Western people. We show up. I show up in my cowboy boots.
I may give up this life and just totally adapt to the Wild West.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out we like it better.
Probably not, though. Like, I could barely get through Red Dead Redemption. I don't think I could live in that town. But you never know.
Dude, I haven't played that game yet. I really want to.
It's pretty slow. I'm not a gamer. I bought it just because it was out and everybody was talking about it. And that's like the one thing I let people influence me with is video games. Yeah. And everybody was like either taking vacation time for it or whatever. I was like, okay, so what's up with this? So I went and bought it and put it on. Within like maybe 2 hours. I was like, okay, so I took a horse over a hill to get a haircut. And then I got attacked by a mountain lion. And that was it. I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Dude,
I'm good.
You know what? Like video games, I have a deep love for video games. Like ever since I was a kid, I played a lot of video games and stuff, man. And some of the new age stuff is really cool. Like, don't get me wrong, like that looks really cool. But they started to get a little too overboard with like making it like real life. Like, dude, when I play a video game, I am trying to get away from real life. I don't want to cook in the fucking video game, dude.
No.
Like, just let me fucking, like, I'm perfectly okay with the charade of picking up a piece of meat and letting that restore my health, dude. I don't need to light a fire, fucking catch a fucking fish. Like, dude, it's too much. Like, the new Zelda game that came out was like that. It's like, man, like I gotta fucking sit in order to fucking heal myself. I gotta sit down. I gotta like catch something. I gotta cook it. It's like, man, you add all these processes. These are all the shitty things I hate about real life. Like,
Right.
I'm trying to get away from this right now, you know?
Yeah. Hey, yeah. I mean, it's it's being a non-gamer, like I get it because I've dabbled in these games and I obviously know what Zelda is. I mean, Zelda's one of the biggest video game franchises ever that's gone generation to generation. But that's kind of disappointing to hear. I mean, I guess if you have the time to do that shit,
Yeah. It's cool because it's more realistic. Like, I get what they're going for, but at the same time, like, God, man, it's too much. They went too much in that direction. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm there for the adventure, and you start to lose sight of some of the adventure at that point, I think.
Right. Yeah, it's, I had that thing with Red Dead Redemption because everybody was like, it's a Wild West version of Grand Theft Auto, and then you play it, and it's like, no, it isn't.
No, it is not.
It isn't at all. I'm sure it's cool, but I don't really have the time to get there,
Yeah. I was a big fan of I like like RPG stuff. I'm actually okay with like a long-winded game. That's not the issue. Like I don't care. But it's like when you're doing that long-winded game and you have to do like menial tasks, that's like when it starts to be like shitty. So like I like Fallout, and the newer versions of that start to feel that way too, where it's like, man, every time I pick this game up, because I can't like play it consistently every single day. Every time I pick this game up, the learning curve is so high that I spend the first 2 hours just figuring out how to fucking play it again. Yeah. And it's like, well, I guess I can't fucking play this now, unless I'm going to be obsessed with it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one video game, and this could tie into horror films, but there's one video game that never really became a game. It was just a really popular demo. Yeah, I think it was from the people who did maybe Resident Evil. It's called PT. It was like a PlayStation downloadable demo. And very stupidly, I deleted it from my system. But a couple years ago, I was trying to re-find it. You can't find it anywhere. People were actually on eBay because the game never came to fruition, but the demo's really fucking scary. So people really wanted it. So people were actually selling PS4s with that demo on it for like $600, $700.
That's crazy. Yeah, I used to love demos, dude. When I was a kid, I would get, I'm not sure what magazine it was, but it would be a magazine, probably PlayStation Magazine or something. It would have like the demo disc in it. You get like 13 games that you could experiment with. Dude, I loved that shit. That was so cool. It's just so different now because everything's just available at your fingertips. Like, but I see what you're saying. Like they release, that's one of the downsides of not being able to have stuff like that. It's like once it's gone, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
It's hard to get that back.
Right.
Speaking of video games, because we didn't really talk about it, there's some scary video games that are really good too.
Absolutely.
Silent Hill was fucking great. That was a really good one. My stepbrother introduced me to that, and man, that's like a super creepy one.
I didn't play too much of the game. Like a lot of my friends played it, and I would like go over to their place and watch them play. And it's like one of those things where you're like, oh, dude, let me play. And they're like, no, I've gotten too far. You can't play it. I'm like, oh, come on. See, I didn't get it. Like I remember the arcade versions of that or Resident Evil. But the Silent Hill movie I saw in the theaters was really fucking good.
Yeah,
really
that was good too. That was good too, yeah. I agree. It's one of the ones that I think that they didn't fuck up that much. You know what I mean?
They got a director that cared is what happened. And he was like, okay, I can make this movie really cool if you let me. And then they did. And it's like, okay, this is what you got, when people actually care.
That just reminded me of one more movie. I don't know why it reminded me of it. The Mist. It's not so much the movie itself that I find to be good. It's the ending of the movie. I just always thought it was one of the best endings to a movie that I've ever seen because they just went a direction that like most movies would be so afraid to go. Right. Most movies, they feel like they have to like resolve the conflict. They feel like they have to like bring it back to like, oh, and then so-and-so lived happily ever after. Like,
Right.
And dude, they just went the opposite direction on that one, man. I think even Stephen King said that he wishes he would have ended the book that way.
Yeah. That was all Frank Darabont, and that movie's fucking so, it's paced slow, and it's very much a throwback until the ending. Most of the movie I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, this is like a 50s like atomic era thing, and then you get to the ending and you're like, oh God, no, like why? I would at least let the chick survive. If he would have let the chick survive, it would have been a better story. Like, yeah, take the kids out, get rid of the fucking old people. Who cares?
Spoiler alert, guys.
If they haven't seen it yet, whatever,
Yeah, fuck them.
I'm sorry. But yeah, that was a great one. That was a great one. It's been a while since I've watched that, and that's because I don't want to get to the ending of that movie.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, dude. God, I think we covered 6 movies. We covered we covered Jersey.
Yeah, man.
Jason. Oh, the Misfits. Yeah, the Misfits are from pretty much the inventors of horror punk, and Glenn Danzig, who's a lot like anything from New Jersey is from New Jersey.
I tried to come out to one of his songs. I think "Mother" was it?
Yeah.
And I don't think, for whatever reason, I don't think there was any curses in it, unless I'm wrong.
No.
But the 1FC, I think, didn't approve it.
That's all right.
They popped out my. I always have to give them 2 song suggestions, and they did my secondary one instead of the primary one. So that usually means they didn't approve it.
So you use what? You use AC/DC, right?
Usually AC/DC is my gig, but I'll mix it up, man. I like a lot of different stuff. I don't like to get pegged for too much. I like the AC/DC stuff for walkouts and things sometimes because it's like, it's energetic and things. I've tried to select other walkout songs that weren't quite like that, and they were like, well, they're not like exciting enough, and I'm like, all right. So I try to. It's not like it's just my favorite music. Like AC/DC is definitely one of my top artists, but I should say bands, but it's still like. I don't know, man. I don't want people to just think that that's the only shit that I really like. Like I like a lot of different music.
Right.
So,
and I mean the history with Japan and Japanese MMA, everything is very exciting. Sometimes over the top. I watched Pride. I remember staying up to like 3 a.m. to watch Pride pay-per-views. When I was in college. So yeah, that shit. There's actually a Japanese horror film I was going to recommend to you that sounds like everything you would be into.
Okay.
I don't think it ever got a real cult following because it never really got a U.S. release, but it's called Versus. I don't know if you saw it. It came out in like 2002.
No.
So that's a totally different genre, by the way, that we didn't talk about. We didn't talk about like foreign films. Oh, yeah.
Because they're high level.
This one, though, is, I mean, other than like some of the amazing foreign horror films, this one I think you would love. Just hear this out. So it starts out, it's kind of a Yakuza movie where all these gangsters go to the woods. Yeah. And then some of the dudes know martial arts, and then it's turned into this was like post Crouching Tiger, so it was a lot of people on strings flying around kicking the shit out of each other.
Amazing.
And then all of a sudden, all the bodies that the Yakuza buried in these woods start coming back to life.
Oh, shit.
So there's Japanese gangster Yakuza zombies who can fight, and they do. It's tremendous.
And the name of the movie again?
It's called Versus. I'll send you a link. I think there's a bootleg of it on YouTube, and I know it's getting a Blu-ray release in December. That's why it came to mind. Because I remember having a bootleg of it in college or maybe even in high school. And it was so fucking cool, but it never got any footing here in the States, unlike a lot of the other Japanese horror at the time, like The Ring, The Grudge, all that shit.
So in the foreign film category, the one that like came to my mind as soon as I like realized that that's like more of a genre. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Korean film. He has a relationship with like this the girl. It's like a family member of his. The guy has a relationship with his sister. The guy catches him. He's watching this happen, and then he ends up like putting that guy in a prison.
Oh,
Old Boy, dude.
Amazing.
Oh man, that movie is so good.
Unbelievable. The acting in that Korean guy who's the lead in that movie, it's so fucking good. Like he was in I don't know if you saw Lucy, the Scarlett Johansson movie where they shoot her up with some drug. He's the villain in that movie.
Oh, okay.
And
I think I saw the beginning of it, but I don't think I saw the whole film.
Yeah, he's in it. I mean, that movie's like way over the top. Like it's a really exciting movie, but he's really good in it. There's another movie he did not too long after that if you like that movie, you should check this out. It's called I think it's called I Saw the Devil.
Okay.
And it's about some cop whose family was a victim of a serial killer. So he just tracks down this serial killer. And he's that guy from Old Boy. It happens pretty early. So he tracks down the serial killer and he'll just capture him and torture him and let him go. Yeah. And then the serial killer goes on to kill more people. Then he captures the serial killer again and tortures him more. So it's not a spoiler because it happens right away. Yeah, that one's cool. But Old Boy's fucking amazing. Oh so good. God. Even the remake wasn't that bad. It wasn't. I
didn't even see the remake. I saw just the original because I don't know why I didn't end up seeing the remake first. But somebody told me to go back. They're like, don't watch the remake. Watch the original. Like, watch the original.
I mean, I would agree. I mean, it was so good for the time that it came out, and that was such a big deal. I think I even screened that. I was in film school for like a year, and then I was like, fuck this. This is too expensive. I'd rather go back to the stage. But I think I screened that in our school's theater for like I had a bootleg version of it. And then not too long, it got like a official DVD release. But yeah, that was a fucking killer movie. You know, it was genre bending, really messed up ending. Violent when it needed to be. You know. Yeah.
That kind of reminded me. You saying like all the guys like came back to life and were fighting each other and stuff like that. It reminds me of some of the scenes from Old Boy.
Oh yeah, like the hallway scene.
Yeah,
with the hammer.
So great.
Yeah, man, that's a great movie. God, what else is there? I mean, there's so many movies, and we covered some really good ones. Are you a Monster Squad fan?
Never heard of it.
You never saw the Monster Squad? Okay. It's an American movie. You might be a little too young for it. I hate to say that. It was like kind of like late 80s, early 90s, and then it kind of disappeared. And then now, because of DVD and streaming, it's big. So I'll send you a link to it. It's just a kid's movie where basically a coffin falls out of an airplane that has Dracula, and he brings back all the classic monsters. But the kids, like, it's a totally 1980s Reagan-era movie where the kids are just so politically incorrect. And just talk shit, and there's bullying, and then bullies get fucked up, and then man, you would love it. You would love it. It's definitely something that, you know.
I miss that. I miss that era, man. Like where you could just make a movie and fucking that's it. You just can't. That's like what people don't realize is the downside of all of this PC shit. It's like, man, like you gotta at the very least keep off the art. Like keep away from the art, man, because you're not getting like the raw deal anymore. You're getting like some person's filtered, bastardized, PC filtered version of what happened in their head, man. And like the truth of it all is like, man, like we all live different lives, and like we're all gonna have different prejudices and different things that we grow up experiencing. Like, man, to have that happen in a movie or whatever the case may be. Like,
Right.
if anything, that's life right there, man. Like, why edit that out? Like, that's just what happens, man.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's wrong, right, or indifferent. Like, you just gotta,
Right.
if you're talking about how it affects society, I mean, it's all of our jobs to figure that shit out. It's not the fucking movie's job. When has it been movie's job to educate us and tell us how to be good people? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
No, it isn't, because those aren't the movies that sell. I'm sorry. I mean, I know there's a huge rise in like Christian cinema, you know, and people are going to see it, and that's cool. But at the same time, people still pay to see Hostel. You know, what I mean? People still pay to see all that. And I mean, to me, if you're going to accept the violence, then you might as well accept other things. But
and that's the crazy part about it. Like, like it's totally okay for some of these movies for people to have just like these violent deaths and stuff, and that's totally fine. But like, you know, you say some sort of racial slur or something, and oh man, we got to cancel that movie. And it's like, dude, like you just watch a dude get his head ripped off,
right?
Like what?
Most importantly, nudity, dude. Where is the nudity in movies?
Yes, in all these old 80s movies, it's like, dude, there's nudity for no fucking reason. Like, you're watching a family movie and there's titties. It's like,
Oh, and I mean, it's, you know, probably because there were some foreign investors who are just like, we want to see some shit. You know, we didn't pay you all this money for you to make just this. At least have some breasts somewhere. You know?
Oh, dude, speaking of like super fucked up old movies, you ever watch Blue Velvet?
Love Blue Velvet.
Man, that's the essence of everything I'm talking about. Like, to make a movie like that today, please. I
honestly think you could, just because David Lynch did so good with it.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing too, because he's such a brilliant filmmaker in that he doesn't toe the line of what's right and wrong. You already know who's wrong in the movie.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Good point.
And you already know that like this dark underworld lives inside of a like Montana like puerile neighborhood, and there's this dark like they tell you right away in that movie, like with the bugs and the fence, and they tell you right away. You know, you go deep on Blue Velvet, they tell you everything right away. It's going to happen.
That's true. The smarter guys do find a way to make it work. Like even in today's world, like when they did Tropic Thunder and they had the blackface. Like no, like sure, here and there you'll hear whispers of people complaining about it, but for the most part, it went off without a hitch and like hasn't been a problem. I haven't seen any call for it being removed or anything like that.
Right. Well, I think people need to know the context of that movie, and it was that it points out the ridiculousness of Hollywood and the ridiculousness of blackface. It doesn't promote it by any means. It's not. It's not Robert Downey Jr. playing a black guy. It's Robert Downey Jr. playing a dude disguised as the other dude. You know? And that's how they got away with it. But they even state it several times in the movie. But that's just brilliant comedy.
Absolutely,
like,
it was great.
You can't. I mean, it's about not being stupid. Like, you can get away with things unless you're stupid. There's a lot of people like Matt Parker or Trey Stone, Matt Parker, like they're brilliant. They can get away with it. They could write their way around it, and they're not stupid. So you can get away with it. It's just now it's like, you know, controversy sells too. That's another thing. Like controversy sells. So you know, you know, I mean, it is what it is. The studios are kind of owned by corporations, and corporations want to sell sodas and they want to sell shit. So you can't have something like too out there, because it's like, well, Pepsi still wants to sell soda.
They can't like put their ads in it or whatever the case may be.
It happens. It's a necessary evil. It's always been there. I mean, if it wasn't heavy metal in the 80s and then violence and horror films in the 80s, like watch Friday the 13th Part 8 or Part 7, and you'll see the shift in how much censored violence was in movies. They
Sure.
don't show like anything, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody who's paying to see those movies knows what they want.
Yeah.
They want to see the kills. They want to, they hire makeup effects teams who work hours and hours and hours, and then
Sure.
everything they do is fucking cut. But
Yeah.
that's changed. Like violence, there's more
Yeah. Now
violence
it's
in
no
an
problem.
Avengers movie than there is in most horror films.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
That just is what it is. And speaking of which, I don't know if you see this last message. It says, the Earth is flat, space is fake, and coronavirus is just Satan. Get ready to wage war against the return of Yahushua the Messiah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I think
good for you, man.
it's a beautiful it's a beautiful thing.
I'm sure his Wheaties were tremendous this morning. That's great. But yeah, so we'll wrap it up there because we pretty much covered everything.
Awesome, brother.
I just want to thank you for being a part of this.
Absolutely. Loved it.
You know how I do my talk show and shit, and obviously with everything going on, nobody's doing anything, so this has been a cool medium to reach out to people who are normally
Sure.
in Pittsburgh to be on the show. But
Sure.
next time you're in Pittsburgh, I'll book a show around that so we can have
Awesome, man.
in real life, and you can tell some real stories. The audiences in my shows always love a good MMA story, and it's not normally the MMA fans or jiu-jitsu fans. It's just regular people who just show up to the show
Sure.
and hear about someone knocking someone out, and they're like, "Wait, did he say he knocked somebody out, or did she say she kicked a girl in Thailand?" It always makes the hipster brows go up.
Yeah. I'd love that, man.
But yeah, Gary, thank you so much for being a part of
No
this.
problem, brother. Thanks for the conversation. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. Like I said, we'll be in touch, and thank you, and good luck to everything you're doing. And yeah, tell everybody I said what's up.
Thanks, man.
Tell the fam I said hello.
Will do, man.
All right, Gary. Take care,
All
man.
right, have a good one, man. Thanks.
Later.
Later.